Bail has now been set at $1.2 million for the man accused of slamming his car into two Black Lives Matter protesters in Seattle over the weekend. 27-year-old DeWitt Kalite faced a judge for a bail hearing today. He faces vehicular assault charges right now, but those could be upgraded as one of the protesters has now died. Kalite is due back in court on Wednesday.
Offensive references on a Facebook page have landed a longtime King County Sheriff's Office detective on administrative leave pending the outcome of an internal investigation. The sheriff just talked about the investigation a short time ago. KOMO's Michelle Esteban is tracking the story for us. What did she have to say, Michelle?
Well, Eric, let me just tell you this. Anytime there are allegations made at the sheriff's office, there are multiple options in terms of how they move forward. This went right to the most severe option, which is an internal investigation. The sheriff made it really clear this is a top priority for this department, and she said, quote unquote, this will be an expedited investigation.
On Sunday, July 5th, the King County Sheriff's Office was made aware of some concerning posts made by one of our deputies on Facebook.
The sheriff minced no words. She learned about this Facebook post just before midnight. By this morning, this man, a long-time, nearly 40-year veteran with the King County Sheriff's Office, was under investigation, and that's not all.
Detective Mike Brown is who we put on administrative leave today.
The meme was posted Saturday to a Facebook page with the account name Mike Brown. When I asked if investigators confirmed it was indeed the detective's account, the sheriff said that remains under investigation. They're looking at the entire page's content. And if the internal investigation determines any other employees may be linked to the post or even commented on it, the sheriff vowed they too will be under investigation.
People are sending in screenshots and other things.
The posted meme shows a vehicle running over people with the caption "All Lives Splatter" and says, "Keep your expletive off the road." It was posted shortly after this horrific scene early Saturday morning. Protesters on I-5 run over by a driver. Protester Summer Taylor died from her injuries, and Diaz Love remains hospitalized in Harborview's ICU. The post has created a firestorm of outrage on social media. This is video of Brown seen in a KOMO News report on fallen officers in 2016.
Supports law enforcement.
We know the veteran detective, now in hot water, had a high-profile assignment, working the protection detail for the county executive, Dow Constantine. The sheriff said he was Constantine's driver and was assigned to keep him safe. Tonight, he's been stripped of all his police powers as the investigation begins. The sheriff promising a swift, thorough, and in-depth investigation.
Treat everybody fairly and equitably.
I want to be clear here right there. The sheriff was talking about the community. That is her expectation from everybody on her staff. She couldn't comment on the nature of the memes, and there are other posts that they are looking at. The only thing she would say is that it is concerning, but that is the only comment she'll make because those posts right now are under investigation. I want to let you know, too, we reached out to Dow Constantine's office for comment. We have not heard back. Coming up new tonight at 6 o'clock, we heard from the sheriff's office that complaints were coming in from every which way. We're going to talk to one guy who actually called that complaint in. I'm Michelle Esteban reporting live. Back to you.
And taking a live look now at I-5 near where that deadly incident took place. Less than 24 hours after Taylor's death, the Washington State Patrol announced they will not allow protesters to go onto I-5. But then last night, troopers once again closed I-5 between I-90 and Highway 520 due to protests. After reopening, the State Patrol said their stance on allowing protesters onto I-5 hasn't changed, saying they still encourage protesters not to enter the freeway and will arrest those who choose to do so. They added the closure of I-5 is to ensure the safety of everyone.
But off the top at 4, the man accused of slamming a vehicle into protesters demonstrating on I-5, killing one person and severely injuring another, stood before a judge today in Seattle. Thanks for joining us for the news at 4. I'm Jamie Tompkins.
And I'm David Rose. That driver is now facing charges. 24-year-old Summer Taylor died Saturday at Harborview Medical Center. Tonight, there is a memorial to remember Taylor's life in Seattle's Capitol Hill area. Now, the second victim struck that morning is 32-year-old Diaz Love, who is still in the intensive care unit at Harborview Medical Center. According to the State Patrol, the driver swerved around vehicles blocking the interstate to protect the group demonstrating that morning. We have live coverage tonight of the suspect's day in court. Q13's Frankie Thompson is at the King County Jail with details.
David, so many emotions today and all weekend of the people who are mourning the loss of Summer Taylor. For the first time today here at King County Courthouse, we are seeing the suspected driver, DeWitt Kalite. He's now facing charges. But earlier today, we wanted to hear from the people who are honoring and remembering Taylor's life.
By showing compassion to each other, to people you don't know what they're going through, to animals, to civil rights. Those are all things that Summer did in their on time and their off time.
Keeping that compassion alive is now up to this community who loved Summer Taylor. This video captures the moments just before a car slams into 24-year-old Taylor and 32-year-old Diaz Love. They were both hit during a protest for civil rights on I-5 in Seattle. The driver, 27-year-old DeWitt Kalite, now faces charges including vehicular homicide. His attorney says he understands opinions of the case continue growing across the country.
The United States of America presumed innocent. And so, you know, people jump to conclusions often these days. So we'll see.
Washington State Patrol says Kalite drove his car onto the closed freeway, moving around other cars that were blocking I-5 and sped into the panicked crowd of protesters. Instead of focusing on the crash, people are remembering Taylor at their best. Taylor worked at Urban Animal Veterinary Clinic, where a memorial is growing in their honor.
Summer was always smiling, always happy to talk to anyone. Summer was just like the brightest person.
Summer was someone who dedicated their entire life to health care for animals, but also for people. Compassion was what Summer did, what they did for a living.
A life cut short while standing for civil rights. But the team at Urban Animal won't let Taylor's work go undone.
Because Summer would have wanted the animals to be taken care of. Summer would have wanted people to keep protesting and supporting the cause.
Support for each other is now all they have as they uplift the life and compassion of Taylor.
Summer was a pillar in our community, and I can't imagine where their hearts are at right now. I hope they know or take some comfort in knowing how much the rest of the community is mourning this loss.
State prosecutors asked the bond be set at $500,000, but today a judge increased it to $1.2 million. The suspect is expected to be due back in court this Wednesday when charges could be filed. Reporting live in downtown Seattle, Frankie Thompson, Q13 News.
And we're following breaking news right now at 4. A King County Sheriff's deputy is under investigation, accused of posting an incendiary comment on social media.
The deputy, who is a 40-year veteran of the department, is on administrative leave tonight. Q13's AJ Janavel joins us live with more on these troubling accusations. AJ?
That's right. We're just hearing a lot about this situation. As you mentioned, Jamie, this deputy, 4+ decades with the King County Sheriff's Office. What officials tell me is he worked directly with Executive Dow Constantine. These posts causing a lot of controversy. Officials saying they've gotten emails, calls, and other messages in regards to this, about 100+ just in the last few hours. And because of that, the sheriff says they're going to focus on this investigation and expedite it to get answers as quick as possible. So I want to reference these specific posts that are causing all of this controversy. They're unique because they're from a private Facebook, so we can't show you the actual posts, and King County Sheriff's officials will not release them because they are evidence, but they have confirmed what they say. You're looking at that first post that's caused a lot of controversy, a bumper sticker saying "All Lives Splatter" that had an image of a truck running stick people over. The second post, again from Facebook, this is a quote that was posted from Facebook. It says, "I see a couple of people got infected with COVID-19 from the hood of a car on I-5 last night." That final post says, "Say what? The Chaz Chop have renamed Cal Anderson Park the Little Renz's Last Stand Park." All of these posts are very controversial with everything that we've seen happen in the last few days in this area regarding protests. Now, the investigation will start soon. That is an internal investigation, officials say, but it won't just focus on this detective. Officials say they will also look into the possibility of other sheriff's office employees who may have interacted with these posts. We're working to get a lot more information in regards to the timeline for this investigation, but I did get a chance to speak with Sheriff Mitzi Johanknick earlier. What she says is this investigation takes top priority for her.
We value all members of our community and are committed to serving everyone equally with dignity and respect. I'll take swift action to thoroughly investigate when the conduct of the Sheriff's Office members fails to reflect our core values and violates Sheriff's Office policy.
Now, I've reached out to the executive's office for some type of comment. Again, this detective worked every day with the executive, officials say, in close quarters as a driver. I've also reached out to the oversight group that looks into Sheriff's Office investigations. I'm still waiting to hear back from them. As soon as I do, we will keep you up to date. Reporting live here in Seattle, I'm AJ Janovel for Q13 News.